Welcome to our channel Crime Time, where we explore the greatest heist. Have you watched Money Heist, better known as La Casa de Papel? If you have, then you are a little bit familiar with how robberies and heists are carried out. While this is just a Netflix series, infamous robberies have occurred throughout history, all over the world, as banks and antiques are always viable targets for plot twist thefts. Throughout history, there have been numerous daring heists that have shocked the world. So in today's video, we are going to explore 5 infamous robberies that made headlines across the globe. Belgium's diamond heist of the century. The Antwerp Diamond Center robbery is one of the most elaborate heists in history. The Antwerp Diamond District is one of the most heavily secured places in the world, with billions of dollars of diamonds changing hands there every year, and it was there in 2003 that one gang of thieves pulled off one of the largest diamond heists in history. The robbery was led by Leonardo Notarbartolo, a small-time diamond dealer, a tenant of a diamond center, and a thief responsible for many minor jewel robberies. Although police believe he was the robbery's mastermind, he claimed that he was contacted by an unidentified diamond dealer who recruited him for the crime. Notarbartolo said he was paid to take pictures of the vault's complex security system. From those pictures, the dealer constructed a full-sized replica of the vault. Leonardo states that the dealer set him up with a small gang of Italian jewel thieves, each with specific skills for the robbery. The police are not convinced of the truth about this anonymous diamond dealer. However, no proof has been found to support this claim. The thieves got through the 10 layers of security previously thought to be impenetrable. They bypassed cameras, the combo dials the key, block magnetic sensors, the locked steel gate, light sensors, heat and motion sensors, and keypad disarming sensors. They used aluminum to trick the magnetic field and stripped plastic off the wires of the sensor circuits, and then they loaded up bags of diamonds and other jewels. It took 2 hours to get it all out of the building, but thanks to one game member, things eventually fell apart. That man was Pedro Tavano, known as Speedy. He was one of Notarbartolo's lifelong friends. Speedy couldn't handle the pressure after unloading the loot into this car. He had to pull over because he was having a panic attack. Remarkably, not a single alarm went off. As the security guards arrived on Monday morning, they realized that the thick steel door to the vault was open in 100 of the 189 safe deposit boxes that had been raided, with some of the loot still on the floor. Notarbartolo was eventually linked to the crime by roadside trash and DNA found on a sandwich. He was sentenced, aged 51, to 10 years in prison. Many of the jewels were never found. The Dunbar robbery. The Dunbar robbery seemed like the perfect crime. The gang had blueprints, inside information, and even a key. One evening in 1997, 6 men attended a party in Long Beach, California. With their alibis established, the men slipped into black clothing and masks. Their rented van headed to the Los Angeles Dunbar Armored Truck Depot. They opened the depot's side door with the key and ambushed night shift guards as they dropped by the cafeteria on breaks. The men timed the security cameras to avoid detection and loaded the van with $19 million in cash. The thieves laundered the money through property deals, but were eventually thwarted by a schoolboy error. One of the men handed a real estate agent a wad of cash wrapped with a Dunbar seal. The robbery was masterminded by Alan Pace III, who worked as a regional safety inspector for Dunbar. The Millennium Dome robbery. London celebrated the turn of the century with fireworks and a diamond display at its new Millennium Dome exhibition center on the Thames River. The centerpiece was the Millennium Star, a stunning 203-carat diamond. It was not altogether surprising then when a gang plotted a smash and grab. The plan was to crash into the dome with a bulldozer, take a sledgehammer to cases filled with jewels, then escape by speedboat, all in broad daylight. Scotland Yard was tipped off but didn't know when, so 200 officers posed as staff and cleaners with their guns hidden in garbage bags. Dozens more lingered around the river. When the bulldozer finally crashed into the dome, police arrested most of the gang on the spot. 2 were nabbed on the river and several more at a safe house. The media, who'd criticized the dome for being nothing more than a government-built white elephant, admitted the center had finally lived up to its self-styled billing, providing one amazing day. The Jacques Cassandre heist. French gangster Jacques Cassandre was in court in 2018 for a crime committed over 40 years ago. Police noticed the fact that mafioso was the likely mastermind of the century after he was discovered to be the anonymous author of a book about the crime. On July 16, 1976, a group of criminals robbed a branch of Société Générale France's third largest bank in the southern city of Nice, France. Using the tunnels underneath the city, the gang was able to partially destroy the floor beneath the bank's basement vault and gain access to the banknotes, jewelry, gold bars, and safety deposit boxes located within. According to the Society General's account of the incident, the brazen criminals spent the weekend taking their time going through the contents of the vault, even taking the time and luxury to picnic using the depositor's silverware. He used a pen name, but investigators quickly concluded that the writer was Jacques Cassandre, a key mafia figure in Marseille where he is now standing trial. It's not his first time in a court, having been arrested in the early 1970s when police broke up the French Connection heroin trade centered in Marseille. Philip Noel's revenge heist. Armored car guard Philip Noel Johnson was sick of earning a pittance from the cash handling company he worked at, Loomis, Fargo and Company. So he initiated the ultimate labor protest. He turned his company-issued gun on his co-workers and stole $18.8 million in cash, escaping in an armored Loomis Fargo car. Each day, Philip Noel was thinking up ways to leave his $7 an hour job. By 1997, the 33-year-old had driven straight into the history books. Instead of spending a night in front of the TV, Johnson handcuffed one of his co-workers, left him in the bedroom closet of Johnson's Jacksonville, Florida home, and put a jug of water and snacks nearby. Jackson left another co-worker handcuffed to a small tree in North Carolina and set off for Mexico. He'd been planning the heist for 5 years, had fake IDs, and had learned Spanish. The only problem was that the truckload of cash was impossible to carry, so Johnson stashed most of it in North Carolina. 5 months later, when Johnson tried to re-enter America by bus, his nervousness aroused the suspicion of a U.S. border guard. She discovered he had IDs with multiple aliases. Of the $18.8 million Johnson stole, only $186,000 were recovered. Meanwhile, Loomis Fargo continued to suffer a challenging year of business. After Johnson stole $18.8 million from the company in March, unbelievably, David Gant stole another $17.3 million from their vaults in North Carolina. Over a few months, Loomis Fargo had suffered 2 of the largest cash robberies in U.S. history, perpetrated by its employees. Philip Noel Johnson was released in October 2019 after 21 years in prison. These legendary heists, marked by meticulous planning and daring execution, captivate us with their almost cinematic flair while leaving a trail of unanswered questions and intrigue. From staggering thefts of fortune to the sheer scale of deception involved, these robberies highlight the lengths to which individuals will go for a shot at unimaginable wealth. As we reflect on these astonishing crimes, we're reminded of the thin line between brilliance and criminality, and the enduring allure of stories where the extraordinary meets the unlawful.